Hey everybody, and welcome back to our third edition of Green Your Home with the Ozone in collaboration with Wally Farms. My name's Amelia Laguerre, and I'm here today on this beautiful April day on the Gregg Farm, here to talk with you about food waste and how we as consumers of food can reduce our food waste within our home as well as when we're out shopping in the grocery store. More than 40%, or an estimated about 40% of all food is wasted. And that is a shocking statistic when 1 in 10 families here in the Hudson Valley are food insecure, meaning that they don't know where their next food meal is going to come from. So I think it's really important that we kind of assess where the food is being wasted along the line in the food chain. It could be from when we plant the seeds in the spring, when farmers think that we're going to have a great crop of something and they plant a lot of one thing and they go to waste. It could be because of weather events that cause crop failure. It could be because we don't have enough people helping out in the agricultural fields to harvest all the food before it becomes overripe. It could be through transportation efforts and how we don't have enough food storage in like freezing and refrigeration in the transportation system. And it could be when it gets to the grocery stores. We could also try to be better at taking part in food preservation methods such as drying, freezing, and canning. I think that this is something that we really should try to get back into more so that we don't have to rely so much on produce from all over the world. We can really take the produce and the fruits and vegetables grown right here on the Hudson Valley soil and have it available to us in the winter months when we would otherwise have to rely on outside sources of food. And the third thing that I think was really beneficial is for us to take the groceries we buy in the store and store them properly at home to prevent them from going bad before we can utilize them. So we'll be going into a lot of details about that in the food storage. I'd like to go on a little grocery shop with you all today so you can see some low waste, plastic free methods of grocery shopping as well as food storage within the home. So here we are, and we're gonna go right into the Gregg Farm Market. So the first thing I always remember when I go in for a shop, and right here we're at the Gregg Farm Market, is I remember my reusable produce bags and my reusable shopping bags. I always make sure when I'm done with a shop, when I get home, that I stick the bag near the door so I bring it right back out to my car so I remember it and have it on hand for when I'm at the store again. If I'm in the store and I forget my bag in the car, I just put all the products back into my cart, wheel it out to my car, and then fill the bags in my car. So, because that sometimes has happened to me too, and I'm like, oh, they're in my car, but I'm not gonna buy a bag or use plastic or other paper bags. So come on in, let's go shop. Gosh, look at that. That looks amazing. So many times when you go to a grocery store, the only available option would be these single-use plastic bags when you're going to collect some of your fruits and vegetables. So I always like to remember to bring my reusables. So for fruits and veggies, I like to get things like the mesh produce bags because it gives it a little more air. So for things like the peppers and the tomatoes, they store really well in these nice, the airflow is really good in them. Now these are really great because they serve as a moisture locking bag. So for things like greens, like some kale here, they store really well and they don't wilt and go bad. Because a lot of people say that, you know, the plastic bags help with keeping light sensitive greens from going bad longer. So these moisture locking bags are good for storing sensitive greens, like lettuces and things like that. All right, and then we have another type of bag, and that is a gauze bag. So the gauze bag is great for dry goods. So you can, sometimes they come with a tear on them, a weight, so you can store it, you can go and get bulk grains and rice and oats and just fill it right into this sack instead of having to use a plastic bag. They're also really good for things like sweet potatoes and some onions. So no plastic bags here. And the last thing that I always like when I'm out shopping is a cup of coffee. So I always like to remember to bring my mug with me. So many times when I'm running around, I need to get something to drink or eat, but I don't want to have to rely on a single-use cup. So I always try to have my thermos and my water bottle on me at all times so I can just come over and refill it and then just pay for it using my mug to go. So those are some great food storage containers that help reduce plastic, help store your food longer, and overall just make an eco-conscious consumer experience. So now we're back home after our nice shop at the grocery store, and we have all of our groceries and we're trying to store them. Now this is a great time to try to find your non-plastic alternatives. I'm really excited because we live in this time where there's all these different inventions and people are coming up with all these different alternatives that are non-plastic for food storage and for all other parts of our home. So here we have these food huggers. Now these are really amazing because especially for moms or with children, with families with young children at home, you can store parts of fruits and veggies and you just it hugs the food. So if you have an orange, you can cut the orange in half and then store it, and it keeps it like really nice and juicy even hours later. So I really like those food huggers. There's also things like stasher bags. These are all made out of silicone and they last a long time. The stasher bags people love because you can put them in the dishwasher, they're oven safe, they're boiling water safe, so you can defrost things, you can put them in the freezer. There's endless ways of how to use them, and they're an alternative to plastic bags, single-use plastic bags. There's also these amazing things called beeswax wraps. These are fabric, 100% cotton fabric, which you can use like textile waste, and cut it into different size shapes. And you can melt beeswax and jojoba oil and pine resin, spread it out onto the fabric and melt it in. And you have these amazing wraps for food that are non-plastic. So if you have a piece of cheese or you have something to store that you would usually wrap with plastic wrap, you can use a beeswax wrap instead. And it's a great use for fabric scraps that you're trying to get rid of in home. We also have these amazing bag clips made out of beech wood and walnut wood, and you just slide the chip bag over that and into that little crevice there, and it serves as a chip bag holder, unlike the usual plastic ones that you get in the store. And then we have mason tops. So these mason tops are great because a lot of the times the metal mason jar lids start corroding and forming rust over time. So the mason jar lids that you can find are wonderful because they don't drip, and they provide a spout for pouring. So you can save things and store things such as salad dressing or your iced coffee, and you can sip out of it. And then we have these fun things called bowl covers. So these bowl covers come in all different sizes, small, medium, and large, and they're easy to wash. They're made out of textiles, so there's something you can make at home, and they just have a little scrunchie, and you can pull them tight, and they serve as a bowl cover for storing like leftovers in your fridge, again without having to use plastic. So by using food storage and by taking advantage of all these amazing products that are out there today, you can really elongate the life of your produce at home to reduce food waste and to keep things from going bad. Now, when things are on the verge of going bad, that's when you can start to get creative in the kitchen and take that spinach and make smoothies, or take those carrots and those celery sticks and make a big soup with them. Maybe take those bananas and make banana bread. So trying to be creative with the products that are in your fridge that are on their way out, each week trying to evaluate that and cook accordingly is really important. So thank you guys so much. I hope this was helpful and you were inspired by all these little things that they have out there for you to take part in reducing your waste, and both plastic and food. Thanks again.